You know, one of the most dangerous misconceptions people carry is this quiet belief that sleep is always safe. That once you lie down, close your eyes, and drift off, your body simply rests peacefully, harmlessly, without risk. But the truth is far more unsettling than that. Because for some people, the night is not a time of healing. It is a time of silent strain, a time when the body is fighting battles no one can see. When you fall asleep, your body begins to slow down, your heart rate drops, your breathing becomes more relaxed, your muscles loosen. It's a natural process, a beautiful design meant to restore and repair. But here is what many people don't realize. This slowing down also exposes weaknesses. If something is already wrong beneath the surface, sleep doesn't fix it. In some cases, it makes it worse. Think about your breathing for a moment. While you're awake, your body constantly adjusts. If your oxygen level dips, your brain reacts instantly. You shift, you breathe deeper, you correct the imbalance without even thinking. But during sleep, especially deep sleep, that control is reduced. If your airway becomes blocked, if your breathing becomes shallow, if oxygen levels begin to fall, your body may not respond quickly enough. And when oxygen drops even slightly, it puts stress on your heart. Your heart has to work harder to push oxygen through your body. Your blood pressure can spike. Your rhythm can become unstable. And if this happens repeatedly, night after night, it creates a silent pressure that builds over time. Not loudly, not dramatically, but quietly, consistently, like a ticking clock you cannot hear. Some people snore and laugh it off. They think it's normal, harmless, even a joke. But loud, chronic snoring is often not just noise. It can be a sign that the airway is struggling to stay open. In more serious cases, breathing can stop altogether for brief moments, seconds at a time, and those seconds matter more than you think. Because every pause in breathing is a moment your body is deprived of oxygen, a moment your heart is pushed into stress. Now imagine that happening not once, but dozens, even hundreds of times in a single night. The body becomes trapped in a cycle. Oxygen drops, the brain panics, the heart races, then breathing resumes. The cycle repeats, over and over again. And the person sleeping, they may have no idea it's even happening. They wake up thinking they rested, not realizing their body spent the entire night under attack. And then there is the heart itself. During sleep, especially in the early morning hours, the body undergoes changes in hormones and blood pressure. For some individuals, this is the most vulnerable time for the cardiovascular system. If the heart is already weakened, if arteries are narrowed, if blood pressure is uncontrolled, these natural shifts can become dangerous triggers. This is why some of the most serious events, heart attacks, strokes, fatal arrhythmias, often happen during sleep or just before waking. Not because sleep is the cause, but because sleep reveals what the body can no longer hide. I want you to understand something clearly. The danger is not always loud. It doesn't always come with sharp pain or dramatic warning signs. Sometimes it is silent. A gradual drop in oxygen, a slight irregularity in rhythm, a pressure building slowly in the chest. These are things you may never feel in the moment, and that is what makes them so dangerous. Because when something is silent, it is easy to ignore. It is easy to assume everything is fine. It is easy to go to bed night after night without questioning what is really happening inside your body. But your body always knows. It sends signals, subtle ones, yes, but real ones, waking up tired even after hours of sleep, morning headaches that don't make sense, a dry mouth, a racing heart, a sense of unease you can't quite explain. These are not random. These are whispers, and if you ignore them long enough, those whispers can turn into consequences you never saw coming. I have seen it happen. Someone goes to bed thinking they will wake up like any other day. They have plans, responsibilities, people who expect to see them in the morning. But morning comes and they don't wake up. Not because of something sudden and unpredictable, but because of something that had been building quietly night after night. And that is why this matters so much, because sleep is not just about rest. It is a test your body takes every single night. A test of your breathing, your heart, your circulation, your overall health. And if something is off, sleep will expose it. So when you lie down tonight, I don't want you to think of sleep as something automatic, something guaranteed to be safe. I want you to respect it, to understand that what happens during those hours is powerful and sometimes dangerous if ignored. Your life does not pause when you sleep. Your body keeps working, your heart keeps beating, and if something is wrong, it will show itself in the quietest, most unexpected way. Don't let the silence fool you. Now let me talk to you about something even more unsettling, because it's not hidden in some rare condition or complicated diagnosis. It's something many people do every single day, often without a second thought. A habit that feels normal, comfortable, even harmless. And yet, over time, it quietly places a burden on the very system that keeps you alive. You see, danger doesn't always come from what shocks you. Sometimes it comes from what you've become used to. Think about the hours before you go to bed. What do you do? Many people eat heavy meals late at night. Large portions, rich foods, things that take time and energy for the body to digest. It feels satisfying in the moment. It feels like comfort. But what you don't see is what your body is forced to do afterward. Instead of resting, your body goes to work. Your digestive system becomes active when it should be slowing down. Blood flow is redirected. Your heart has to pump harder to support digestion. Your metabolism is engaged when it should be calming. And then you lie down, placing your body in a position that makes this process even more difficult. Now imagine that happening night after night. That constant strain doesn't just disappear. It builds. It raises blood pressure. It disrupts natural rhythms. It creates an internal environment where the heart is never truly allowed to relax. And when the heart doesn't get proper rest, it becomes vulnerable. But that's only one part of the story. Let's talk about stress. The kind people carry into their beds every night. The overthinking, the worrying, the replaying of conversations, the silent anxiety about tomorrow. Many people lie down physically tired, but mentally wide awake. And in that state, the body is not resting. It is on alert. Stress hormones remain elevated. The heart rate stays higher than it should. Blood vessels tighten. The nervous system refuses to switch off. And even if you manage to fall asleep, the quality of that sleep is poor. Shallow, interrupted, unstable. So while it looks like rest from the outside, inside your body, it is something else entirely. It is tension, and tension, when it becomes chronic, is not harmless. It slowly damages the cardiovascular system. It contributes to hypertension. It increases the risk of irregular heart rhythms. It creates a foundation where something serious can happen. Not suddenly, but eventually. Then there is something even more overlooked: sleep position and breathing habits. Many people sleep in ways that restrict their airway without realizing it. Curled in positions that compress the chest. Lying flat on their back when their airway tends to collapse. Using pillows that push the neck into unnatural angles. These small things seem insignificant, but they affect how well you breathe. And as you already know, breathing is not optional. It is everything. If your breathing is even slightly compromised for hours at a time, your oxygen levels can fluctuate. Your body compensates, yes, but at a cost. The heart works harder. The brain stays partially alert. The body never fully enters the deep, restorative stages of sleep it desperately needs. And here's the part many people don't want to hear because it requires honesty. Sometimes, the problem is not lack of knowledge. It's refusal to change. People know they shouldn't eat heavy meals late. They know stress is affecting them. They know their sleep isn't good. They hear the warnings, they feel the signs, but they tell themselves, it's fine, it's normal, I'll deal with it later. Later becomes weeks. Weeks become years, and the body keeps score. What makes this so dangerous is not the habit itself, but the repetition. One heavy meal won't harm you. One stressful night won't break you. One poor sleep position won't destroy your health. But when these things become patterns, when they are repeated consistently, they transform from small issues into serious risks. It's like adding weight, little by little, onto a structure that was never designed to carry so much. At first, nothing happens, then small cracks appear, and eventually something gives way. Your heart is strong, but it is not invincible. It responds to how you treat it. It adapts, yes, but only to a point. And when that point is reached, the consequences are not gentle. They are sudden, they are serious, and sometimes they are irreversible. That is why I am asking you, not to fear, but to reflect. Look at your habits honestly, not what you tell others, not what you pretend doesn't matter, but what you actually do day after day, night after night. Because the truth is, the most dangerous habits are not the ones that feel extreme. They are the ones that feel normal. And normal, when it is unhealthy, is the most dangerous place to live. You don't need a dramatic change overnight. You don't need perfection, but you do need awareness, you need intention. You need to understand that what you do before sleep does not stay in that moment. It carries into your body, into your heart, into your future. And if you ignore it long enough, your body will eventually respond in a way you cannot ignore. Stop calling it harmless when your body is quietly struggling. Let me tell you something that may be difficult to accept, but it is necessary. Your body has been trying to warn you for a long time, long before anything serious happens, long before any diagnosis, long before any emergency. The signs are there. Quiet, subtle, easy to dismiss, but they are there. The problem is not that the body stays silent. The problem is that we have learned to ignore it. Think about how often people wake up in the morning feeling exhausted, even after what should have been a full night of sleep. They brush it off. They blame it on a busy schedule, on age, on stress. They tell themselves that's just life. But constant fatigue is not something your body creates without reason. It is often a sign that your sleep is not truly restful, that something is interfering with the deep recovery your body needs. And then there are the headaches, that dull, persistent pressure you feel when you wake up. It comes and goes, so you don't think much of it. Maybe you drink some water, maybe you take something for the pain, and you move on. But morning headaches can be more than discomfort. They can be a signal that your oxygen levels dropped during the night, that your brain didn't get the steady supply it needed while you were asleep. Your body is speaking, but in a language most people don't take seriously. What about your heart? Have you ever felt it racing unexpectedly? Skipping a beat, beating harder than usual when you're lying still? Many people experience this and immediately dismiss it. It's nothing, they say. It will pass. And sometimes it does. But the question is not whether it passes. The question is why it happened in the first place. Your heart does not behave irregularly without a cause. It reacts to stress, to oxygen levels, to pressure within the body. So when you feel those moments of irregular rhythm, those sudden flutters, those unexplained surges, it is not random. It is information. It is your body telling you that something is not as stable as it should be. And then there is snoring, the one sign people joke about the most. Families laugh about it. Friends tease each other. It becomes part of someone's identity. But what many don't understand is that loud, chronic snoring is not just a sound. It is resistance. It is the sound of air struggling to pass through a partially blocked airway. Sometimes that blockage becomes complete, even if only for a few seconds. Breathing pauses. Oxygen drops. The body reacts. And then breathing resumes with a gasp or a snort. If you've ever been told that you stop breathing during sleep, even briefly, that is not something to ignore. That is one of the clearest warnings your body can give you. But here's the pattern that concerns me the most. People experience these signs, one after another. But because none of them feel urgent, they convince themselves that nothing is wrong. Tiredness becomes normal, headaches become routine, snoring becomes a joke, heart flutters become just stress, and slowly the abnormal becomes familiar. When something feels familiar, it stops feeling dangerous, and that is where the real risk begins, because the body doesn't measure danger by how you feel about it. It responds to what is actually happening inside you. You can ignore the signals, but the process continues. You can dismiss the symptoms, but the strain does not disappear. Inside your body, changes are taking place. Blood pressure may be rising, even if you don't feel it. Oxygen levels may be dropping during the night, even if you're unaware. Your heart may be adapting to stress, working harder than it should, compensating in ways that cannot last forever. And then one day, something happens that feels sudden, but it isn't. A severe episode, a collapse, a moment that changes everything. People call it unexpected. They say it came out of nowhere, but in many cases it didn't. It was preceded by weeks, months, even years of quiet warnings that were never taken seriously. I'm not telling you this to create fear. I'm telling you this because awareness is power, and right now, too many people are disconnected from their own bodies. They wait for something dramatic before they pay attention. They wait for pain that is impossible to ignore. They wait for a crisis, but your body was never designed to communicate only through crisis. It starts with whispers. A feeling that something isn't right, a pattern that keeps repeating, a discomfort that doesn't fully go away. These are not inconveniences. They are early opportunities. Opportunities to recognize a problem before it becomes something much bigger. So I want you to ask yourself honestly, what has your body been trying to tell you? Not what you've explained away. Not what you've minimized, but what you've consistently experienced and quietly ignored. Because the truth is, your body has likely already given you the answers. It has already shown you where the imbalance is. It has already pointed to the areas that need attention. The question is not whether the warnings exist. The question is whether you are willing to listen before those warnings turn into something you can no longer control. Your body is speaking to you every day. Don't wait until it has to shout. If there is one thing I want you to take away from everything I have said so far, it is this: most of the risks we are talking about are not only real, they are also preventable. And that is the part people often underestimate. They assume that heart attacks and strokes are sudden, random events that simply happen to people without warning. But in reality, many of them are the final outcome of patterns that have been building quietly for years. The good news is that your body is not helpless. It is incredibly responsive. It can recover, it can adjust, and it can heal in ways that often surprise people. But it needs support, it needs attention, it needs consistency, and most importantly, it needs you to stop ignoring the small choices that shape your health every single day. Let's start with something very simple: your daily routine before sleep. This is one of the most powerful moments for your heart and brain, yet it is also one of the most neglected. Many people go from full activity straight into bed, carrying stress, heavy meals, screens, and emotional tension into the night. And then they wonder why their sleep is not refreshing. But your body doesn't switch off instantly. It transitions. It needs time to slow down. If you bombard it with stimulation right up until the moment you close your eyes, Your nervous system remains active. Your heart rate stays elevated. Your mind continues processing. And even though your body is lying still, it is not truly at rest. Now imagine repeating that every night for months, even years. You are training your body to stay in a constant state of low-level alertness. And that state is not harmless. Over time, it contributes to high blood pressure, inflammation, and cardiovascular strain. But the solution is not complicated. It begins with small discipline. Allow your body to wind down. Reduce stimulation before sleep. Give your mind space to settle. These are not luxury habits. They are protective habits. Then there is movement. Many people underestimate how important regular physical activity is for the heart. And I am not talking about extreme exercise or intense routines. I am talking about consistent, natural movement. Walking, stretching, staying active during the day instead of sitting for long, uninterrupted hours. When the body is inactive for too long, circulation slows, blood flow becomes less efficient. The heart has to work harder under less than ideal conditions. But when you move regularly, even in simple ways, you are supporting your cardiovascular system. You are helping your heart do its job with less strain. And this is not about perfection, it is about consistency. A daily walk can sometimes do more for your long-term heart health than people realize. Now, let's talk about something even more important: listening to your health early, not late. Most serious conditions do not begin as emergencies. They begin as subtle imbalances, slight changes in sleep quality, mild shortness of breath, occasional dizziness. Small shifts in energy, these are the moments when intervention is most powerful. But unfortunately, this is also the stage where most people do nothing. They wait, they hope it goes away, they normalize it. And by the time they finally take action, the condition has already progressed. I want you to understand this clearly. Early attention is not an overreaction. It is protection. Checking your blood pressure, monitoring your heart health, addressing sleep problems, and seeking medical advice when something feels off are not signs of fear. They are signs of wisdom. Because the people who survive serious health events most often are not the ones who never had problems. They are the ones who paid attention early enough to change direction. And then there is something deeply important that I must emphasize: stress management. We live in a world where stress has become normal. People wear it like a badge of honor. They say, "I am always busy. I don't have time to rest. I can handle pressure." But the heart does not interpret constant stress as strength. It interprets it as strain. Chronic stress keeps the body in a prolonged state of hormonal activation. It affects blood pressure, it affects sleep, it affects inflammation levels, and over time, it quietly increases the risk of serious cardiovascular events. So learning to manage stress is not optional, it is essential. It does not require escaping life, it requires balancing it. Resting when needed, breathing properly, creating moments of calm in between responsibility. And finally, I want to bring everything together into one simple truth. Your future health is being shaped right now, not someday later. Every choice you make today is either reducing your risk or increasing it. There is no neutral ground. There is no pause button for the body. It responds continuously, silently, and faithfully to how it is treated. The powerful part is that small changes are enough to create real difference. You do not need to transform your entire life overnight. You just need to start respecting the signals. Start adjusting the habits. Start paying attention to what your body has been asking for all along. Because prevention is not dramatic, it is not loud, it is simple, consistent, and often invisible. But it is also the most powerful protection you will ever have. And if you choose to ignore everything else, do not ignore this. Your heart does not wait for permission to fail. It responds to how you live every single day.